Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
An elderly man had a massive stroke, and the family drove him to the emergency room. After a while, the ER doctor appeared, wearing a very long, sad face. "I'm afraid Grandpa is brain dead, but his heart is still beating." "Land of Goshen," cried his wife. "We've never had a liberal in this family before." Okay. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America. Good morning, everybody, and welcome me back. Here I am, in the flesh, and too much of it. Got to lose some more weight. Zeb at the ranch. Thank you very much. The lovely, great, talented Kate Smith. And God bless America. Zeb at the ranch. I'm Zeb Bell. Good morning to our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers. Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more at 459 Overland in Burley. And our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And now, without further ado, as she steps up to the microphone with a little bit in the corner of your mouth, right corner, a little bit of biscuits and gravy still left there. Good morning.
Is it still there? You can see that, huh?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I'll wipe it off.
How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Thank you to you and Sharon for covering for me yesterday.
We had a wonderful show, and how did it go yesterday?
I got to say it with trepidation. Good news, bad news. The leg is healing very well, but there are some other problems and some other complications that we weren't aware of.
And I'm sure that the doctors are on it, and they will get you taken care of.
Yeah, it was kind of a let down, come down, but hopefully it can be dealt with, and we can get over this next little hurdle. Hurdle, for me, is kind of an odd word.
It is kind of an odd word. Thanks, prayers going out to you and Deanne in your recovery process.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And now, my dear, do we have a pledger?
We have Mr. Michael Rogers on for the pledge and for the weather.
Hey, the guy does a great job. Good morning, Michael. The pledge, please.
Morning, everybody. Morning, Zeb Bell. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 40 degrees in Murtaugh. One of the great things about doing the weather from a tractor trailer in Los Angeles is that you can actually do it because traffic is so backed up you can't move. So, that being said, there is rain in Los Angeles, there is rain in the Magic Valley of South Central Idaho, and you're going to continue to have this rain for today and tomorrow. It's also going through Saturday. You come out of it on Sunday. Temperatures are going to be on the warm side for today and tomorrow, but it'll cool off day after tomorrow as far as the cold front coming through. But other than that, we need the moisture. You got it. There it is. Have yourself a great day. Enjoy the weather. It is the only weather you've got.
Best weatherman in the world, MichaelRogersWeather.com. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. Hey, without further ado, it's time to sell some cattle at the Burley Livestock Yard. Murph, come on in here.
All right, a good set of steer calves there, here to get all 31, 31 going out, 32, 2.
That is the chant of, I think, the world's best auctioneer right there, Merv May, along with Lance Udy and the rest of the crew at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Sale time, 10:30 today, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. And if you need some more information about the sale today, you just give them a call at 678-9411. P-Bar S Dairy bringing in about a semi-load of butcher cows, along with the Moo Mountain Dairy, butcher cows coming in. Southridge Dairy's bringing in some good butcher cows, and TLK Dairy and Mountain Home bringing down some butcher cows. And they got some ranchers out of the Tremonton area. I just went through there last night, bringing in about 35 head of good feeder cattle. And don't forget, a good line of cattle coming in on their trailer line. You betcha they have trailers backed up all the way to the highway, and they're ready to serve you at 10:30 this morning. And don't forget, this Saturday, the big Sheridan Ranch Bull Sale at 1 p.m. at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. All of this and more going on today and Saturday at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, he gets the steer calves there, here to get $1.31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 135, 50, 135, and $7.35. Zeb Bell gets bottom again.
And how true that is. Good morning, everybody. Give us a call. I'd love to hear from you. So 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give us a jingle on the landline. Like to hear what you have to say this morning. We had a fast trip down to Salt Lake, and I'm not going to elaborate or anything. Good news, bad news, and as it happens a lot of times. And fortunately, we got back safely last night. Deanne, she's driving the pickup better every time. I got to tell you this. She will not, and I understand her reasonings, she will not drive in the downtown area of Salt Lake City. She said, nope, and she was ready to jump out of the truck. But she does a great job on the freeway. She's handling the big white beast very well. Very well.
I don't blame her for not wanting to drive in downtown Salt Lake City. I don't even want to drive down there either.
You know, you've seen pictures of the harried housewife, where she gets really frisbee hair and her eyes bug out and her ears turn in circles, and she yells at her husband. I said something so simple yesterday, or the day before Tuesday, we went down Tuesday afternoon, about I think we need to turn up here. I wish now, looking back on that verbiage, that I wouldn't have mentioned it.
Sometimes you just got to let the woman figure it out for herself.
She had her hands on the 10 and 2 position, the safety position on the wheel.
Always.
But one hand came off the wheel and flashed me a signal of which I don't want to talk about on the air.
She told you you were number one, huh?
That's not exactly the impression I got.
It's her way of saying, Zeb, I love you, you're number one.
Nope, it wasn't either. Oh, okay. I got to pay some bills. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Ramsey Heating and Electric, don't forget 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where the stock up on incandescent light bulbs. They got boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes. They got all of them, 40, 60, 75, and 100 watt. Don't listen to the government telling us we can't have them. We got to have regulations. I bought a box full of them. You should, too. Get into Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459. It'll make you feel good. It will. It'll make you feel good. You stop in there today, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Don't forget, too, our friends at Valley White Home and Ranch. Boy, there's people just waiting and chomping on the bit for Chick Days. And Chick Days is going to be March 17th, and I'm going to be telling you a lot more about that. Here a chick, there a chick. There it is everywhere. But also, we want to remind you they've got all your fertilizers, and they've got all your gas and diesel. You can stop in the morning for a cup of coffee and a donut, or maybe one or two more. And they got pine shavings for your horse trailers and stalls. Everything you need for the farm, the home, and the ranch, right there at Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. You stop in and see those good folks today. All right. Again, a thank you to two wonderful ladies, Sharon and Gina, for filling in yesterday. I really want to thank them for all their talents. We do certainly appreciate it. And a tip of the coffee cup, and this is going to shock Gina right off the edge of her chair because I remembered for a change this morning. A tip of the coffee cup going to Lorna Arbogast. She's having a birthday today. Happy birthday, Lorna. Along with also a tip of the coffee cup to Lyndon and Bertha Wood and Cordell Sheridan family. They're having a big bull sale this Saturday at the Burley Livestock Yard. Okay. Hey, today is Lunch Bunch Day. Now, I don't want you to forget this. I want you to be there. I'm going to hobble in the door. I'll be there as close to 11:30 as I can at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. Boy, we were so happy with the results of our lunch bunch last month, our inauguration lunch bunch at Denny's. Absolutely fantabulous. And you can stop in anytime, all the time for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And don't forget, you can build your own skillet. Yeah, that'll tell you all about it. And don't forget, too, celebrate your birthday at Denny's with a free Grand Slam. Just bring in your valid ID providing it's your birthday. Okay, and proving it, too. Stop in to Denny's restaurant. We'll be there today at 11:30, and our thanks to Smith's Food King, Hanson Mortuary, and all of our other great folks for helping provide the door prizes, along with Walmart. Our thanks to them. And Deanne just about fell out of her shoes. Okay, thank you very much. We're going to have a wonderful lunch bunch today at 11:30. Don't forget it. All right, give me a call. 436-2244-1866-927-4587. Folks, this is really earth-shattering news. This really is earth-shattering news, but you won't hear it. I'd be willing to bet lunch that you won't hear it on ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN. No, they won't cover it. The co-founder of Greenpeace, I mean, it's as green as it gets with these guys. The co-founder, one of them, Patrick Moore, testified in front of a Senate committee yesterday, and he said, quote, "There is no scientific evidence of man-made global warming." Now, wait a minute. Knock you back on your hip pockets. Here is a guy that has condemned mankind. Here is a guy that has absolutely said that man was altering the thermostat and changing everything because of driving cars and everything else. And he comes out and said, there is no scientific evidence of man-made global warming. He said, quote, that the Earth is in an unusually cold period, and some warming would be a good thing. Now, call me and let me know if you heard any of these dim light bulbs on ABC, CBS, NBC say this story. I bet you did not hear this. And then he also said today, we live in an unusually cold period in the history of life on Earth. Let me repeat that. Let me repeat that again for the editor at the Times News and others that condemn me for not being a global warming believer. Today, we live in an unusually cold period in history of life on Earth, and there is no reason to believe, oh, I love these words, there is no reason to believe that a warmer climate would be anything but beneficial for humans and the majority of other species. The only reasons we can survive these cold climates are because of fire, clothing, and housing. And it could be said that frost and ice are the enemies of life, except for those relatively few species that have evolved to adapt to freezing temperatures during this ice age. Notice he said ice age. Here is the guy that condemned. He was given quotes all over. This gentleman, Patrick Moore, co-founder of Greenpeace. And by the way, just to solidify the coldness that's going on right now in the middle portion of our country, this morning, right now, this minute, it is minus 11 without the wind chill at Minot, North Dakota. In Duluth, Minnesota, a town I know very well because I went there numerous times, it is now negative 19 without the wind chill. And in International Falls, Minnesota, I don't know how anybody can live there. It is currently minus 27 without the wind chill. Don't anybody come up to me and say global warming. You will get a black eye. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. You know, they don't have time to argue with the flat Earth people.
You know, now right there, I'm so glad you brought that up about John Kerry. No, I'm serious. This is not a laughing matter. I'm very upset about this, and you all should be too. For him to go to Indonesia and call us names and call us flat earthers and everything else, and that we're not very knowledgeable and we're not very learned. You know, here we go. Look what's happened. Look at what's happened since January. We have had numerous people, of which I've mentioned on this program, that have been very staunch supporters of global warming, turn around, turn coat, and say that it's not caused by man. What does that make you feel, my friend?
Well, it makes me feel like that joke you told this morning, the heart's beating, but the brain is dead.
But you know, Doug, what it says to you and me and everybody, that it was nothing more than a duping from this administration to lower the standards of this country, literally like cutting our military, and cutbacks to make us more of a third world country. It's an economic disaster program. That's what it is.
Yes, and they used it to get a lot of, I'd say, low information people that hear go green, good for the earth, planet Earth, and the people don't research what they're backing and what they're rooting for.
Yeah, absolutely.
This has got to be good. You know, we love trees, so let's hug the trees.
Did you hear James Taylor on my program last week?
Pardon?
Did you hear James Taylor from the Heartland Institute on my program last week?
I'm sure I did.
James is speaking all over the world. He's spoken at the United Nations. He's spoken in front of all the major TV cameras and shows on all the networks. And I'm not giving him a quote on this. I'm just analyzing what he had said. And he said basically that, when they make a statement so frivolously stupid like 97% of the scientists agree, well, 97 out of the 100 they interviewed maybe that were paid to say that, but now thousands and thousands of scientists from Stanford University, Syracuse University, New York University, the Chicago Institute, along with the University of Illinois, I got a list of them here, have said, no, man is not causing global warming. So what more does it take?
That's true. They're just using it to forward their agenda to bring us down. If the United States was to watch their CO2 emissions and could change the world, then that means the rest of the world would be above us on their emissions when they're not. You know,
and Doug, real quick, I got another call waiting, but we are, and it's been said statistically, we have about 6% of the pollutant forces in the atmosphere. 6%, Doug. Mm-hmm. We're the cleanest nation in the world.
Exactly. That's what I was saying there. United States changing their policies cannot change what CO2 is doing in the world. They need to cut.
But the thing is, Doug, it's not doing anything. It's not doing anything to the world. As a matter of fact, here now is this guy saying we need to warm it up instead of get colder.
Yeah, and plants use CO2, so we got to put CO2 in the atmosphere. The plants won't grow.
How much poison ivy do you see grow in minus 27 degrees?
None.
Okay, buddy, I got to go.
Don't even see pot growing.
All right. Hey, thanks, Doug. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Caller, I'll be right with you. Don't go away. Hey, this Saturday, I told you it's going to be the Sheridan Ranch 19th Annual Bull Sale. They'll bring the gavel down at 1 p.m. at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Oh, ripping good bulls from Cordell Sheridan. Gelby, Angus, Balancer, 20 head coming 2-year-olds, 50 head big mature yearlings, and first-year breeding season guarantee. I'm telling you, these are ranch and hill-raised bulls. They've grown up in the rocks. They know how to travel. You better check out this sale this Saturday at 1 p.m. The Sheridan Ranch 19th Annual Bull Sale, Burley Livestock Yard. Don't you miss it. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Can I change the subject just a little?
I'm going to spank you.
Hello?
All right. Go ahead. That's fine.
Can I change the subject?
You already have. Go ahead.
Last night on Fox News, they showed a picture of a female soldier hiding in the back seat of her car because she did not want to salute the flag of the United States.
Hold your phone real still, Dal. I can't hear you. Hold it really still. Say that again. I did not hear you.
Last night on the Fox News, they showed a picture of a female soldier hiding in the back seat of her car because she did not want to salute the flag of the United States.
Good heavens, why? Why would she go hide in the car?
She says, and you people are paying me to do it.
Oh, my Lord, that just sickens me. That just sickens me. I'm sorry to hear that, but if that's what it comes to with these loony liberals, I don't know what to say. I'm just going to keep fighting on the radio. I'm going to keep destroying their image as being of selling mind and body, which they're not. This is absolutely pathetic. It just sickens me.
Well, maybe you can check that out and make sure I was right.
I will. As a matter of fact, we'll check it out. I'll have Deanne take a look at it. And by gosh, we hope to see you at Lunch Bunch.
I'm planning on being there.
God bless you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hey,
I got to tell everybody real quick, Cade Rogie, there's a good old boy, and Rogie Auctions are having a big spring cleanup sale at the Minidoka County Fairgrounds March 8th. Put that on your calendar starting at 11 a.m. I didn't say 11:01, I said 11 a.m. And it's going to be a ripping good sale with tractors and vehicles and guns and all kinds of miscellaneous items. They've got some wagons. Cade was telling me about these wagons. They got one Surrey wagon with the tassels on it and everything and the wooden wheels. Outstanding. Chuck wagon. All kinds of things. This is going to be on March 8th, 11 a.m., Minidoka County Fairgrounds, managed by Rogie Auction Company. You be there. For more information, call 431-0074 or 888-470-8271. Going to be ripping good. Ripping good. Okay, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I have maintained long time on this program, there is no such thing as global warming. And by the way, what harm would it do? Oh, they'll sit there and they'll tell you we're going to lose the polar ice and all the polar bears are going to be floating out in the ocean and they're just absolutely going to drown and all this. That's a bunch of bunk. It is a bunch of bunk. We need warmer temperatures right now with, like the statement I gave you earlier this morning, the Midwest. My Aunt Miriam in Wisconsin has not been able to leave the confines of her house since February the 10th. February the 10th. The ice buildup, the snow buildup on her driveway, and she's about maybe a quarter mile off the road. The ice buildup and the snow buildup and the wind has been so bad that the neighbors have had to use snow machines to get to her house to make sure she's all right. And nothing's melting, and if there is any sunshine at all, it just goes to solid ice. With temperatures in the minuses almost every single day. Don't give me, please, don't give me global warming. Caller, good morning, you're on the air.
Yeah, and them T-birds are really hollering. Keep rhyming it, it's cold out here.
You're not kidding, man. How are you?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm good. What can I do for you?
I'm going to talk like Val did. That soldier, you're a disgrace to your uniform. Do the right thing and resign or take an undesirable discharge. That's all I got to say.
No, Al, give me a little background on this. Well, I was gone yesterday. As you know, I had to go to Salt Lake to the hospital. And I've been away from the media basically since Tuesday afternoon, going down there. Why? What was the reason for doing this?
He doesn't want to, I guess, conform to the military code of justice or the way military are told to do.
So she volunteers to go into the military. She volunteers to become a member of our military, and then after the fact decides that she's not going to do certain things that are absolutely mandatory for the military.
That's right. And as far as I'm concerned, and maybe some of these old soldiers like me and that, we're going to agree that she's unfit for military duty, so get her out of the service. We don't need that kind already interrupting for what's going to hell now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I could not agree more, and I'll do some pursuit on that. Deanne's looking it up right now, and we'll do our checking on that story, and I'll follow up. And thank you, and I'll tell you what I'll do. Next week, after I get the information, I will call Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth with the Concerned Veterans of America. You've seen him on TV all the time, and I'll have him respond to that.
Well, Gina had a guy on yesterday at the last that he's pretty sharp on that kind of stuff. Maybe you ought to ask him about it, too.
As a matter of fact, I had quite a few people lined up on yesterday's program, and I'll for the girls when I left, and I've got the list and the numbers, and I'll give them a call. Al, thank you very much.
You bet. Have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's check and see if our good buddy Jim McCall with Travel Loop Supply is on the phone. Jimbo, are you there?
Good morning, Zeb.
Hello, my friend. Now, last week you about knocked me off my chair when you said that for older equipment you had the filters and you were knocking the price down 90%. Are you okay this morning? Have you had another bump on the head, or what's going on?
Hey,
not only is that for older equipment, that goes for nearly everything we have in stock.
Wow. Jim, why don't you just stand out in the middle of the street and each passing car or truck just give them away, for heaven's sakes?
Well, I need to make room. I've got a shed I got to get some room into, and I got to move some filters.
All right, now say it again. All the filters for newer equipment and older equipment, and now correct me if I'm wrong, 90% off?
Up to 90% off. We have some that aren't, but we have a lot that are.
I'm telling you, folks, if you don't go shopping at Travel Lube Supply today, now, also, I'm going to put you down on the spot here and see, are Bubba ropes still 10% off?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yep. Old stock only. I've got to move some inventory here. I need some cash, so let's get this stuff out of here.
Don't you realize that Christmas was over 3 months ago?
Well, you know, I like to be a nice guy and reward good people.
There you go. And, of course, you got all the metric and standard bolts and all the bolt bins. Have bolts, will travel. You'll fill them up and everything at Travel Lube Supply, 1050 West, 203 south of Hayburn. Right, Mr. McCall?
Sounds good, Zeb.
Hey, God bless you. 438-8730. If you get a time sometime later today, give me a call. I need to ask you a question.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Take care, my friend. God bless. Holy cow, you folks and ladies out there, you better be checking that out. Travel Lube Supply. New equipment and older equipment filters up to 90% off. You aren't going to find a deal like that anywhere else. Time for the Capital Press Ag Minute. I'll be right back.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capital Press, the West Ag Weekly.
Cassia County building and zoning officials have approved a conditional use permit for a cattle slaughter plant near Burley, proposed by Alan Ward's Seven Brothers Meat. The plant would be located near the family's calf ranch and add diversity to the operation owned by the Seven Ward brothers, says Matt Thompson, owner of the engineering firm employed by the company. Construction is set to begin this spring on a 40,000 square foot facility on a 40-acre parcel of land. The starting cost is about $5 million. The first phase of the operation will process 300 animals a day, expanding to 500 a day. The facility will break down carcasses, producing boxed beef and product for grinding. This is Hannah Browse.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and capitalpress.com.
Thank you very much. Hey, by the way, our friends at Berry Equipment and Rental, Eli in Twin Falls, old Nick right there on Highway 30 in Burley. Holy cow. Nick's going to be on the program with us a little bit later on this morning. You don't want to miss that. They've got the Coyote tractors, and they've got all kinds of equipment over there. I mean, I'm just absolutely impressed. And they've got all the Doosan equipment. We're going to be talking about that later on this morning with Nick. 2 locations to serve you, and service is exactly right. They've got great deals on the Coyote tractors like I've been telling you about. Stop in and see Nick and Rosie right there on Highway 30. In Twin Falls, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin, and of course that's with my old buddy Eli. And then in Burley, 159 West Highway 30 with Nick and Rosie. Stop in, say howdy, and check it out. Berry Equipment and Rental. Really, really good folks. You know, there's so many stories that I've got to talk about this morning. And one that really sickened me this morning, early at 4:30 on Fox News.
We've got Wayne Hurst on the phone.
Okay, I hadn't heard, so I didn't hear the cow, so I apologize. My fault.
No, I texted you.
Oh, it didn't come through, I swear to you.
Really?
No, this time.
Huh.
Oh, wait a minute. Yes, it did. It did ring. Yours truly, with his earplugs on, did not hear. I am at fault, audience. The great one, Gina, did follow through. Ladies and gentlemen, Cassia County Republican Chairman Wayne Hurst. Wayne, what are you doing down in Texas, for heaven's sakes?
Hi, Zeb. Yes, I'm down here at Commodity Classic. It's a huge event involving corn. It's a national conference of corn, soybeans, wheat, and sorghum. And we're down here in San Antonio talking about, agriculture and what's coming up and so forth. It's an interesting meeting, but I'm calling you, of course, regarding Republican stuff today.
Absolutely. Now, this Saturday, March 1st, at 2 p.m. at Maury's Steakhouse, we're going to have the Minicash and Lincoln Day Luncheon. And give us some of the highlights real quick, would you, Wayne?
Sure, you bet. Yes, it's at 2 today. This year, we've often had a luncheon, right, more closer to the noon hour. But the way things turned out with the rotation, all of the Republican leaders and candidates are meeting in Blaine County Saturday morning, and so they will finish up late morning, and then to give them time to get down to the Burley Rupert area. That's why we had to schedule it for 2 o'clock. The plan is to have a meet and greet period from about 2 until about 2:30, where folks can come and visit with a lot of these dignitaries and our elected officials, people that represent us and work for us. Then around 2:30, the program will begin. There'll be a great lunch that Maurice will have there for us. It's $25 per person, and you can just buy tickets at the door. Mm-hmm. And when you come, just tell them which county you're from, and anyway, just you can buy them at the door. Anyway, there'll be an auction of some interesting, fun items, and then of course speeches. We've got quite a slate of pretty impressive folks coming. Elected officials. We'll have both U.S. senators there, both Senator Crapo and Risch, as well as Mike Simpson, representing our congressional district. They will all have an opportunity to speak, as well as some of the candidates running for some of those offices. And then we'll, of course, hear from Lieutenant Governor Brad Little. We'll also hear from other constitutional officers and candidates for those positions. The candidates for, let's see. I'm thinking Spanish. Sorry, I just saw something in Spanish here down in San Antonio. Anyway, there'll be candidates for Secretary of State and Public Instruction. Of course, we'll have our 3 legislators from the area there, Senator Cameron and Representative Wood and Speaker Bedke. And then, of course, Governor Otter will be there, and he'll close up the program. The speeches will be kept short, but to the point, and it'll be very interesting to compare the various candidates and officials for these offices, and it'll be very informative, and like I say, there will be time, hopefully after the program, to also visit with them as well.
I tell you what, that was a very good synopsis, and I'm just going to add my 2 cents worth to this thing. I think you will concur. If people are not happy with the way things are being done or not being done, this is an ideal opportunity to go and face-to-face ask the legislators, ask your senators in a proper fashion, but demand answers.
Right.
I mean, I absolutely, and you've heard me say this on the air, they are our employees. I'm not going to go hat in hand to anybody. I don't care if it's Mike Simpson or if it's Crapo or anybody else. And if I've got questions about what I think are shortcomings, this is an ideal place to ask. And I actually think people, instead of being coffee shop cowboys and griping about it on Monday morning, they should be there.
You're exactly right. This is an opportunity to meet with these folks and hear what they have to say. And you're right. Things happen, when you're involved. And of course, you can usually get a lot more done if you show respect and listen. But yes, you're right. They work for us, and they'll listen. That's been my experience. Sometimes, they or everyone else won't agree with what you or I may think on a certain issue. But that's the democracy that we live in. That's politics too. And our aim should always be to persuade others to our point of view, and usually that's much more effective doing it in a respectful and proper way.
Well, there's no question about it, but I just want to say this, and then we got to wrap it up. Basically, especially now, this being an election year, they are applying for a job. And if they're applying for a job or trying to keep their job, that means that when somebody asks a question regarding immigration, or whether it has to do with the economy, or whether it has something else to do with something very important to them, I don't want a form letter. I want a direct answer, eyeball to eyeball, and that's why these Lincoln Day banquets are extremely important, and I urge people not to do their griping behind closed doors. Do it out in the open and do it face-to-face.
I agree with you totally, Zeb. I agree.
All right, well, listen.
Anyway, that's again Saturday, 2 p.m. until probably about 4:30 p.m. there at Maury's, and it should be very, like say, informative and useful, and we welcome young folks as well. Students are more than welcome to come, and everyone, frankly. And it's a Republican event, but they represent us all.
Absolutely. I'm going to, come heck or high water, limp in the door. I will be there.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, and I apologize. I actually personally cannot be there. I have commitments down here in Texas through Saturday night, so I can't be there. I sure wish I could, but I've been on the phone with a lot of these people's staffs and their campaign folks, and I know they're going to be there, and it should be a great event.
All right, remember the Alamo.
Oh, you bet. In fact, I went by it just recently. I've got to stop in and check it out.
All right, Wayne Hurst, chairman for the Cassia County Republican Party. God bless you, and thank you for being so prompt on time this morning. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
You betcha. Thank you. Good event. Great event. I'm going to plan on being there this Saturday, absolutely. There's another event going on you don't want to miss. It's Sportsman's Warehouse Annual Balloon Bonanza this Saturday, March 1st, and you can be one of the first. Now, listen to this carefully. This is really important. You're not going to believe this. You can be one of the first 400 customers through the door on Saturday and receive a ticket to be guaranteed a balloon at checkout. Now, listen. And every balloon will have a discount for at least 5% up to 100% off your purchase. What are you talking about, Willis? I'm telling you that you might get in your balloon a ticket that says free. Holy buckets, you better not miss this at Sportsman's Warehouse. Absolutely, this is a great, great deal for you at 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls this Saturday. Don't you miss it, Sportsman's Warehouse. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, did you hear, I got to get into this, about the Barbara Boxer, senator from California. Honestly, folks, I'm at the end of my rope with patience and trying to remain polite with verbiage over some of the dim Democrats that are trying to dig holes and find any and all dirt, rocks, or whatever to throw on the Keystone Pipeline. Now, get this one. The United States State Department came out and okayed the Keystone Pipeline. They said they couldn't find anything wrong with the idea. It looks like it's environmentally very safe. Everything is going to be run very diligently. Everything looks good. It's going to be a great thing for this country. So Barbara Boxer comes out on behalf of the dim Dems, and she says, oh no, why, we can't have the Keystone Pipeline. Why? Well, I'm sure that there will be toxins released into the air that will cause cancer. Now, this woman has no scientific knowledge. Well, in her case, not much knowledge of anything at all, kind of like Pelosi. But why would you state something that needs scientific knowledge and you come out and you babble and bumble in front of the news cameras? Well, no, we can't have that Keystone Pipeline because, well, I'm sure that there's toxins that are going to be released into the atmosphere that will cause cancer. Ladies and gentlemen, in this part of the country, there are thousands of pipelines. There's pipelines running all over the place. And this one will be the most technologically advanced of any of the pipelines. And for her to say, well, I think that according to my studies, there will be toxins released that will cause cancer, that is asinine, stupid, and nothing more than a scare tactic to stop the pipeline and stop progress and hurt Americans at the fuel pump. Barbara Boxer and her statements, it just shows how absolutely and quite frankly pathetically stupid some of our representatives are. It is time for weather update, and the weather is brought to you this hour by Butte Irrigation, 116 South, 600 West of Paul, and their new location just a little bit north of Kimberly at Red Cap Corner in Kimberly. Oh my, they will get you wet. Bryce and the rest of the crew, Butte Irrigation since 1975, serving you with all your irrigation needs. Nobody does it better. Butte Irrigation, and here is Michael Rogers' weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. So we got showers in the forecast today, and of course, we're going to kick in the winds too. It's not going to be fun. Winds out of the west-southwest about 15 to 25, gusting to 35. That's going to take place most of the day. It'll taper off later on tonight. Overnight lows will be in the upper 30s. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
There you go. Brought to you this hour by Butte Irrigation, 116 South, 600 west of Paul, Idaho. And then their new location, just a little bit north of Kimberly on Kimberly Road, Butte Irrigation. All right, let's get some more calls in here. 436-2244-1866-927-4587. I'd love to hear from... Oh, by the way, I got to get this in here. I don't know why there are so many unknowledgeable people about agriculture, and especially animal agriculture, or anything that uses animals, be it rodeo, the circuses, etc. None of us, and I can say that emphatically, none of us in the rodeo business, and I can also speak for the circus industry, want any harm to becoming any animal because of the extreme costs of the animals. Horses and bulls in the rodeo business, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a head. And I am very glad that the so-called, and I hate to use the words that the animal rights activists want to hang on it, the ag gag bill passed the House and the Senate and now heads to the governor for signing. But listen, I want to just say this. It's not just the dairy industry that this bill is to so-called protect. It's all of us in agriculture. All of us, regardless of what type of agriculture we're involved in. Hog business, sheep business, beef business, horse business. I will never, and it's happened already once here, I will never ever allow anyone again on my property to come and start taking pictures, videos, etc. That happened about 4 years ago when we were roping a carload of ladies, stepped out on my property, started shooting videos, and the one lady made the comment, we just want to make sure there's no harm being done to the animals. Believe me, in no uncertain terms, those women knew that they better get off the property el pronto. It's private property issues. And also, you take a bunch of these loonies that have no idea about animals and animal husbandry, and you turn them loose with a camera that they can doctor and treat the footage to whatever they want it to show. Don't give me that. This is a security bill for agriculture, and I'm glad it passed, and I'll fight anybody verbally on this program that wants to have the nerve to speak against it. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
You know, to assume that anybody that is an owner of cattle, or livestock, or land would want to harm that in any way because it's their livelihood is such an absurd thought that the premise is beyond belief. And you know, we have tolerated this stuff for so long, and they just continue to infiltrate our lives. And you say, when are we going to do something? Every day you wake up again, hoping for some sort of glimmer of light that says we are going to start breaking back and winning the battle. And to think that these people who are planning right now to somehow trip people up and then get them in trouble on our own property, it is just...
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal, Randy, and I know you're going to be compatible with my statement. There are some people, there are some locations, and there are some businesses that perhaps have employees that don't think before they take action. And you know that's as true as anything can be said, because there are, and I'll stand behind this, cases of animal abuse. But let's not just point our finger at a dairy industry as a separate entity. Let's talk about the lowlifes that live within the confines of a city. and they take the mother and the puppies, and they go out and shoot them in the barrel pit or turn them loose on the highway, and then turn around and go back to their warm fireplace and watch an NFL game. That is no less, actually I think it's more, of human and animal cruelty than you will ever see anywhere else. And that happened just up the road from us, where a mother and her pups were just left to die in the barrel pit. Now, you want to define animal cruelty, it happens on all sides of the fence. But as far as, let me make my point here, as far as defining it to just the dairy industry or animal agriculture in general, I will never allow anyone on my property without my permission if we're roping or if we're working horses out. If I spank one of my horses for doing something wrong, I will spank him so that I and my safety are not going to be jeopardized. And if they don't like it, they shouldn't be there in the first place. I will never let anyone on my personal property.
Well, that's the thing with these people. Most of them have no idea what it's like to grow up on a farm, have cattle, milk cows. You know, my dad was an environmentalist back in the 60s. He was so concerned about the silt running off of the property because we had gravity irrigation. We had silt pits. And he won awards. And he says, well, you know, it's my land. You know, everybody feels the same way as my father did about their livestock and their farms. It is such a crock. It's amazing to me that we've even gotten to this point.
I appreciate, as always, your call. I got a line of them lined up. I got to run. But, Randy, God bless you, man. Thanks so much. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Morning, Zeb. I noticed one day on the internet while I was cruising around that talking about animal abuse, and they showed people preg-checking cows and AIing cows, and said that they were trying to push the point that they were using these cattle.
Yeah.
They don't have an iota of what's going on and what's taking place. Instead, they assume and make a big stink out of nothing they don't understand.
Well, you know, your point is very well taken. Your point's very well taken. I saw this when I was on different boards fighting these animal rights, not knowing anything about how animals are treated in the rodeo business. And it was really shocking to me that when we finally sat down across the table and we showed them and explained to them what this is done for, why this is done, etc., many of them go, oh, gee, I didn't know that, or gee, yeah, I can support that. It's unknowledge and a lack of wanting to learn the truth is what causes a lot of these blowhards to cause so much trouble.
I agree.
All right.
I'll let you go. You have a good day.
Thanks, Roddy. I appreciate it, man. No, I'm very adamant. About 4 years ago, we had some friends over and we were roping, and about 4 ladies pulled in, 4 or 5 ladies, I can't remember, in this car, and they just drove onto my property and started video camera and some regular cameras. And I rode over and I said, what are you doing? Well, we're going around the area and we're just checking on behalf of their organization, whatever it was from up in Haley, on animal abuse. And I said, you have 5 seconds to get back in your car and HE double hockey pucks get off my property. And I absolutely am adamant. No one is allowed on my property. If I want to go out and spank that horse, and I'm serious, spank that horse for doing something wrong or acting up in a fashion that what might injure me or the horse, I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to have some Nimrod there that absolutely does not know anything about animals, doctor the footage, and then say animal cruelty. I would never let these people on my property unless of my permission. And agriculture should have the private property rights to say no. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And by the way, I got to get this point in. To the Democrat from Boise, her name is Ilana Rubel. I have lost any and all respect for you because here's what her comment was in the paper. Anytime you equate Nazism with this animal cruelty, purported animal cruelty, there's no respect from me. She said, I'm Jewish, and I would fight to death for the right for Nazis to speak. Everyone is equally slammed by free speech. It's an equal opportunity slammer. She's talking about the rights to go on private property and shoot videos, and she brings up Nazism and Jewish, what happened during World War II. That is a pathetic analogy. Shame on you! You should not be an elected representative of the state of Idaho. You should be doing nothing but perhaps sweeping the floors at the Capitol. Big Founders Day celebration going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you in honor of Mr. Les Schwab. What a great man. And Super Bison Tires. They've got passenger car tires starting as low as $39.99. And, of course, the best in brake value service. Over 30 years experience, professionally trained technicians serving you and your vehicle. Stop in, front end alignment, shocks and struts, the best in batteries. All of this and more during the Founders Celebration. And, of course, stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, Twist Family and Paul, John on Poline and Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Holy cow, lunch bunch at 11:30. Are you going to make it, Gina? Don't tell me. Oh, yes. I had visions of you running to the console, grabbing the headsets, turning the microphone on, and giving us an elongated sentence of, yes.
Yes. No, actually, I am really excited for Lunch Bunch today, and my mind is actually mentally going through their menu right now, so I know what to order.
Well, I know that you're always hard-pressed time-wise to try to make it as I am right on time, and so I'm looking forward to it. And again, our thanks go to Smith's Food King, Hanson Mortuary, and Walmart for everything they do. It's always fun to have those door prize drawings. Everybody gets a kick out of that.
Everybody loves it, so big thanks, of course, to all of the sponsors on that as well.
Hey, real quick note, you might lose your quarterback for the Seahawks.
What?
Yes.
Where is Russell Wilson going?
Texas Rangers.
No way.
Listen, I'm not saying it's a done deal, but you know what? He has proven himself as a Super Bowl ring-winning quarterback, and he was originally drafted by the Texas Rangers as a baseball player, and he is going down to spring training to help with spring training, and he loves baseball.
Well, you know, they can have him for baseball, but we better get him back for football, and that's all I'm saying.
We shall see what we shall see.
Okay.
I'll be back in 6. Don't go away. Oh, my. Here we are. Ready, hour number 2. Kind of a wet morning out there this morning. Good morning. Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with our friends at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more at 459 Overland and Burley. We'll be talking to them later on this morning. And also our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Before we go to our chamber report and call coming in I can't take, I'd like to remind everybody about our dear friends at Hanson Mortuary. We really appreciate all they do at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Please remember them and always call to get information on pre-planning of funerals to help alleviate a lot of the stress and the worry for all of our family members. Always upholding the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Don't forget to give them a call. 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary with Joel Heward, serving you. Very nice people. Ladies and gentlemen, our friends also at Cameron and Siemens Insurance. When you think about life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, think about Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Dean and Todd, always dedicated and responsive to your needs. Very thoughtful and caring with their recommendations to protect you, your family, and your business. Call them at 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Really good folks. Well, good morning, Kay Cameron at the Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning, Zeb Bell.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you this beautiful morning?
Well, I'm back today. I was gone yesterday. I had to go down to Salt Lake City, and the weather down there yesterday was in the 60s, and very, very nice. And, of course, we're getting more of what we really need, some more moisture right here in the valley here this morning.
Absolutely. It's a gray morning, but I'll tell you what, looking out over the river and out over the park, it's really a beautiful day.
Absolutely. Well, now, what are you doing over at the Chamber of Commerce?
Well, this morning I've got lots of projects that I'm working on, as always, but we always just have a lot going on here in this fabulous, wonderful community.
Okay, well, hit us with a couple of good ones, would you please?
Well, today I want to talk to you about some of the great things that we have going on for this upcoming week. People always call us or come by and say, I'm looking for something to do, what's going on? We've got things going on.
Okay.
If you haven't had the opportunity yet to go to the King Fine Arts Center and see the Les Mis production. Get out there and check it out. It's fabulous. I went last weekend. Great talent. We are so fortunate in this community that we have such amazing people and so talented, and it's a great production. There's a show tomorrow night, 2 shows on Saturday, and so go check that out.
I'll tell you
Saturday
what.
night is also the 12th annual Renaissance Ball, which is a fundraiser for the Wilson Theater. It's a great evening. It will be a lot of fun. They have a lot of things going on. So if you want to participate there, go out there and support them, because it really is for a good cause.
Absolutely. You mentioned something about the talent level here in this area. It's shocking to me whenever I go to a play or if I go to a sing fest. I mean, there's a lot of people that you might bump elbows with every day, and there they are up on stage, and boy, they can sing.
Absolutely. Like I said, we're very fortunate here in our community because we have very talented people. So go check that out. If you're looking for a little adventure, Saturday night, they up at Pomerelle, they are having their Hot Iron Rail Jam. And that is a big competition that they have up there. If you like to slide the rails and hit the jumps, that's your thing. I mean, following up on the Olympics, this is your opportunity to be a local star and shine. So get up there. You can compete. The registration starts, I believe, at 2 in the afternoon. I believe the competition starts at 6 o'clock p.m., so it's an evening competition. They'll have a bonfire and live music, or maybe not live music, but the stereos, and lots going on, and it's going to be a lot of fun for the families and the kids and anybody who wants to get out there and show off their inner Olympian.
So you mean they really go down the rails like they did during the Olympics that we watched them at?
Absolutely. They have the rails set up. They actually have a terrain park set up there all the time, but they'll have rails set up, and they'll be judged on that and award trophies and prizes and stuff for the competition. So it's really a lot of fun.
Oh, my goodness. That would be fantastic to see. Tell us again the starting time on that.
The competition starts at 6. The registration begins at 2. I think it goes until 5, and then, you've got to get out there and get your warm-up runs. But it's down towards the bottom of the hill, so spectators will be able to see it, or it's close enough within walking distance to go and watch the competition. And like I said, bring out your inner Olympian, because who doesn't love the fabulous Olympic Games? I just get so addicted every year. It's the Olympics. I love to watch the whole competition, everything, just the whole sport and the camaraderie of the athletes. And, we have those great competitions here locally. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if people have questions about what's going on at the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, come by and see us. We're located at 1177 7th Street in Hayburn. They can come by and, that's where we're located. They can give us a call at 208-679-4793. Check out our calendar of events on our website. It's minicashiachamber.com, and click on the calendar button, and we're always posting things on our calendar, so there's always a lot going on. That's a great way to see what all is happening. Find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter.
Absolutely. Kay Cameron, lovely director of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. Thank you. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you next Thursday.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Really nice lady right there. Oh, by the way, I got to tell you, you know what's going on this Saturday at 1 o'clock at the Burley Livestock Auction Yard? Yes, sirree, Sheridan Ranch 19th Annual Bull Sale. Selling 70 head of bulls, Gelbvieh, Angus, and Balancer bulls, 20 head coming 2-year-olds, 50 head big mature yearlings. And boy, I tell you, this family, the Sheridan family, has put a lifetime into producing great cattle. You're going to love this sale. Please don't forget, 1 o'clock, Saturday, March 1st, this coming weekend, Sheridan Ranch 19th Annual Bull Sale at the Burley Livestock Auction Yard. It's going to be a ripping good sale. Okay, also, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you real quick before we go to our next guest on the phone, Sportsman's Warehouse is going to have a great big special. That's right. Their annual Balloon Bonanza this Saturday, March 1st. What do you mean, Balloon Bonanza? Well, be one of the first 400 customers through the doors and receive a ticket to be guaranteed a balloon at checkout. And then, listen, every balloon will have a discount inside the balloon for at least 5% up to 100%. Wait a minute. What do you mean 100%? You could get your purchase free. Yes, that's what I mean. That's limited to the first 400 customers in the store on Saturday, March 1st. Don't miss it at Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls this Saturday. That is going to be fun. Okay, we're going to head on over to Berry Equipment and Rental, right there at their new location at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. And we're going to talk to a guy that knows everything that you want to know about equipment, whether it's tractors, whether it's great big loaders, whatever the case might be. Hello, Nick. How you doing?
Good, Zeb. How are you?
If I was any better, the wrong fat man be wearing my clothes.
Well, that's all right, then.
What's going on over there at your new location of Berry Equipment and Rental?
Well, we wanted to tell everyone we just took on Doosan Loaders. Name's not really well known, but they are the 5th largest construction manufacturer in the world, and they are Bobcat's parent company. So these loaders have anywhere from a 2-yard up to a 7-yard bucket, so they compete with Cat and John Deere and Case, Hitachi, Komatsu. We're really happy to have them here. We just took them, got delivery in January. So we got those sitting out front now. I have a couple on the ground and more on the way. They also do the large excavators, and we're really happy with those so far. And like I said, they're Bobcat's parent company. They kind of saved Bobcat a few years back, about 96 or 7, when they bought them from Ingersoll Rand, and that company has turned around completely.
Oh, my.
We're really happy with Doosan as a whole.
Well, you know, and you've got some on display right out in front of your location right there at 159 West Highway 30. Let me ask you this. Somebody that has never been to Berry Equipment and Rental, and they go, well, gee, I don't know what to do. Gee, I don't know how to handle this. Tell them how simple it is to come in and do business with you.
Oh, absolutely. I've got a really good staff right now. I have Rosie, who was new, maybe 6 months ago now. And she's the face you'll see at the counter. She'll help you with any of your rental needs, whether it's an aerator, stump grinder, or skid steer. She can also sell walker mowers and pushing her towards Coyote tractors as well, which I also have, I think, 8 sitting out front right now, and I just got 3 more in on Monday.
Well, now, Nick, I got to stop you right there. These Coyote tractors, man, I'm drooling over those Coyote tractors every time I drive by. They are really catching on in popularity all across the country, aren't they?
They are, and Coyote is one of the smaller manufacturers of tractors as well, but the cool thing about Coyote is they build everything from the speedometer needle all the way up to the wheels and tires and roll bar and loader that they put on these. So from start to finish, it is a Coyote product. They don't outsource anything. In fact, you won't find a tractor that's built in the United States smaller than 90 horsepower. And Coyote's the same way. They're actually built in South Korea, though they are assembled here in the States and sent out from there.
Okay. Now, going in and renting one for all kinds of different purposes, you know, people probably don't realize what they may need equipment for and how easy it is to stop by and talk to you.
Yeah, we can put a tiller on the back of one of those if you're tilling up a garden, or if you're putting in a new driveway, we put a box scraper on it. They're actually real simple and really inexpensive. Just a couple hours is $60. And they top out at $160 for a day. And it's 24 hours with a tractor. My skid steers are about that. They actually top out at $225. So we have everything from the tillers you're going to use in your garden to even shovels, and then we go up to skid steers, tractors, and rollers. About anything you could need, we should have it here.
Absolutely, and the thing I like is your location is so doggone accessible for everybody. 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, going right into Burley. For those that might not be familiar with your location, what's the easiest way to tell them where you're at?
We're just east of McCain Foods, about a mile.
Okay.
Everyone knows where they are, right on Highway 30. Just 2 miles west of Overland Avenue.
All right, well, Nick and Rosie over there at the location at 159 West Highway 30, and then our old buddy Eli in Twin Falls at 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin. I'll tell you, you've got it covered. If they need equipment and they need to rent it and they need a job done, you've got it all, right, Nick?
Yes, we do. I am proud to say we do.
All right. I want to tell you what a great job you did. I'm going to be stopping in and shaking your hand one of these days, so by golly, have a good one. This is Nick over at Berry Equipment and Rental. You have a great day, okay?
Thanks, Ed. You do the same.
All right, buddy. Thanks an awful lot. Really nice people, and they've got it all. They got the Coyote tractors and the Doosan loaders and everything. Wow. And everything's right out in front. Not everything, but, I mean, they've got displays right out in front. Really looks good right there on Highway 30. Okay, where am I at? Lunch Bunch. Yes, today at 11:30. And our thanks again to Smith's Food King and Hanson Mortuary and Walmart. We're going to be over at Denny's Restaurant at 11:30 on Overland. Wow, Denny's has treated us so good. Thomas and the rest of the staff, they were so absolutely phenomenal last month, and we can't wait to go back again today at 11:30. So put that on your calendar of must-do. In about, maybe 2 hours we'll be over there. Time flies when you're having fun. Hey, don't forget Let's Ride. Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley, open Tuesdays through Saturdays, and they, of course, have a huge selection of side-by-sides at Let's Ride. Now, this seems to be the in thing right now, these side-by-sides. Everybody wants a side-by-side, and they've got all the different styles and everything, and they've got a lot of ATVs on sale right now. Spring's right around the corner, and you'd better be ready. And they got dirt bikes for all the young at heart, and all the watercrafts are coming in on a daily basis, and a super parts and service department, too. You better get in there. Let's Ride. Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley, open 9 to 6, Tuesdays through Saturdays. Yep, that's where the fun is sold. A reminder that this Saturday at 2 o'clock at the Maury's Steakhouse, the Minnecasia Lincoln Day Luncheon is going to be held at 2 p.m. Tickets will be available at the door. And my point that I made with Wayne earlier, and he agreed, you know, if you've got a kind of a question that needs answering by one of our politicos, or whether you just want to be there and make some statements about what's being done or not being done, don't go to the coffee shop and gripe. Go there to this Lincoln Day banquet, because you'll be able to talk to the people that can help do something about it, okay? Minnecasia Lincoln Day Luncheon, 2 p.m., March 1st at Maury's Steakhouse in Burley. I'll be there. I hope you will be, too. Okay, what else have I got here? I think that's going to wrap it up just for right now, and we're going to find out who in the world let all these doggone dogs in here. Where do these dogs come from, anyway? Where'd these dogs come from, Mort? You're supposed to have them all penned up. What's going on, Ken Mort?
Actually, Ken has not contacted me, so I'm assuming that he is rather busy at the moment. But they do have quite a few things going on over at the Minidoka Animal Shelter. Of course, you do know that they're moving this weekend, and they're looking for some volunteers to help them paint some buildings at their new location.
Okay.
And so if you want more information, look who just walked in the door. You can go ahead and sit down. I don't have a pair of headphones for you. Mort just walked in.
He
with
did?
His little guy in tow. Yes, he did.
With his young son.
Good morning.
Well, hello there, Officer Mort. Better late than not. Actually, I'm a few minutes early, Ken, so I apologize.
Oh, no problem, Zeb.
Hey, what's going on in the world of canines?
Well, today I'm wanting to feature Binko.
Binko?
He is a Border Collie cross, about 18 months old. He's okay with other dogs. He was running at large, good with kids. Makes somebody a wonderful dog. He's mostly white with kind of brindle patches and that all over his body. And a real sweetheart of a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody's interested in him or any of the others we've got, they can contact us at 438-2200. Or can contact me on my cell phone at 670-7268.
Okay, now, Gina mentioned just before you came into the studio, Ken, that it is moving time for you?
We are working on the other facility so that we can start getting moved in. They're going to be there again this Saturday. I believe it's going to be sometime between 9 and 10 o'clock that they're going to show up and start doing some more painting and getting some other stuff accomplished in the office building. And then basically we're going to just try to get everything accomplished in there so that we can start getting like kennels and stuff in it, and then we can get kennels put in there and everything that we need to get put in there.
How many dogs will you be able to house at the new facility?
We'll actually, Annette, be able to house Annette with regular kennels, somewhere around about 50 or between 50 to 55 dogs, which is more than what I can actually house now. It's almost double of what I can house now.
Oh my!
And then, but I mean, we'll still have our collapsible wire kennels and stuff, and that if we start getting too overwhelmed, and that we'll still be able to utilize in case of an emergency. But we've been reluctant to not have to use those lately. So.
Well, now, Ken, I want to get back a little bit to the dogs. Now, Binko, I don't know who in your family decides on all these names.
Actually, some of the names and stuff in that we get are names when we go to pick them up that have been running at large. That the people that have been around there and that have noticed them have just started calling them that. And that's kind of the dog has started to kind of take to it, and that or. We actually get on the internet and look up specific breed names or breeds of dogs and look up names for them and try to go off of that and just and then some of them and stuff and that you take one look at them and it's like, okay, this is your name.
Yeah,
it's a given.
You are now Oscar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like I picked one up this morning that had showed up about 3 days ago out by Pelican Point on the river. And she's kind of a German Shepherd cross, but she's got that mocha and that coloring to her. And so we decided to call her Mocha.
I see. You know, Ken, I just said this earlier this morning, and I'm going to mention it again. I don't know how people, human beings, can get to this kind of a sublife, but, recently over here in the Murtaugh area, we've been finding a lot of dogs that have been hit on the highway, and a lot of dogs, unfortunately, that have been left in the barrow pit, either killed in the barrow pit or left with the puppies to die in the barrow pit. And, there's got to be a certain place way down where it's real hot and never gets cool that these people can go to in their afterlife, because that's pretty cruel and inhumane.
It is. I mean, and anybody caught and stuff actually abandoning a dog on that without any kind of making sure that it has any kind of care on that designated care for it on that, it is a misdemeanor crime on that in the state of Idaho. It falls under animal cruelty.
Oh my!
And I mean, and they can be on that charged and fined by a judge, and at times and stuff, and that. Depending on the seriousness of it, can wind up also, and not only will they pay a fine, but they can spend time in jail.
All right, well, that's good to know, because I'll tell you what, it's so sad, and we've talked about this many times in the past, but it seems like the unwanted dogs, somebody thinks, well, the people in the country can just take care of them. They drive out and leave them in a farmer's yard, or like my yard, other people's yards. That's not the case, Ken, at all.
No, it's not. I mean, especially, and if people have got, farmers have got livestock out there.
Yep.
And I mean, those dogs and stuff, and if they get hungry enough, they're going to start attacking livestock, and you're going to turn around, and instead of them being saved and protected and found good homes for them, and they're going to wind up getting shot and killed because of them being having to attack livestock to survive.
Absolutely. Now, is the new and improved animal shelter, are you still in need of a lot of things?
We are. We're always in need of towels and blankets and dog food and collars, leashes, and even if you don't have or don't want to do anything like that, we are accepting cash donations and stuff and that could be made out to animal control on that to the city of Rupert. They turn around and put into our donation account, and you can designate it saying that I want this to go on that towards the help of buying kennels for the dogs, or I want this to go and help on that to help pay for fencing and stuff and that to put up a privacy fencing area for the dogs to have a dog run. Or you can designate what your donation on that you're making goes to to help these dogs.
Okay. Ken, I compliment you for what you do and how caring you are for the canines in this area, and I applaud all your efforts, so thank you very much.
Oh, and thank you, Zeb.
All right. Who let the dogs out? Ken Moore didn't. He's collecting them, by golly. Every Thursday, we talk to Officer Ken Moore at Minidoka Animal Control, who let the dogs out. He's got some excellent dogs that he's needing some great homes for. You give him a call over there today. Thank you. I mentioned it before. I'm going to mention it again. Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard, has got a special going on this Saturday, March 1st. Can you believe it? That if you're one of the first 400 customers through the doors on Saturday, March 1st, you will receive a ticket that will guarantee you to get a balloon at checkout. You say, what do I want with a balloon at checkout? Well, here's what you do. You pop the balloon, and inside is a little paper that says maybe from 5% up to 100% off your purchase. Oh, what are you talking about, Willis? Yes, sirree. You might get your purchase free, but you got to be one of the first 400 there this Saturday to get a ticket for a balloon. Be there. Great big annual balloon bonanza at Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. Man, that's going to be so much fun. All right, we're going to go to the phone lines right now. And we're going to say good morning to a lady that absolutely is, she's enjoyable to have on the air. She does such a wonderful job. Good morning, Rita Ramsey. How are you?
Hello, I'm real good. How did your bone scan thing go yesterday?
Well, I'm not going to elaborate too much on the air. The leg is healing good, but we ran into some other complications, of which we're going to be working on for the next couple of months. But thank you very much. It's looking better all the time.
Well, that's good then.
All right. Rita, can you believe how absolutely insane this... I hate to call them an administration. It's like the Keystone Cops. And I'm going to center our first part of the conversation on the budget cuts to the military. How can they be so blatantly stupid?
I think it's a Democrat thing. You remember when Clinton did it in his administration? It's like, we loathe the military, so let's cut them back to nothing. And it just kind of makes you feel like that, you know, they're intentionally making us vulnerable. However, it's not a new thing because we were way, way down after World War I and mounting up to World War II with our troops and stuff. And it's just kind of like they wanted to just... They want us to be vulnerable. We can't respond back if we had an emergency, and that was what the travesty of the World War II was, is that we weren't up and ready, and we had to start making all kinds of immediate things. And had one guy say, you know, like sending tractors and all of our stuff in to scrap them so they could be made into, you know, into things for the military. In the military. And so I think it's just their, you know, that's just what they do.
I was really saddened this morning. Earlier this morning at 4:30, I turned on the TV set after we got done with breakfast, and Sergeant Alonzo Lunsford was one of the Fort Hood shooting person. I should say he was one of the persons that was wounded severely at Fort Hood in the attack by the Muslim terrorists. He was shot 7 times during that shooting, and with the government saying that it is a workplace violence incident, he is not going to receive many of the benefits that would help pay for his bills.
Well, the part about that and many other things that really drive me crazy, and I'm not up on all of them, but I know Congress has done a number of things that they've sent to the Senate to get approval on, and Harry Reid won't even bring them up. If that one hasn't been done by the Congress, they need to change the laws and fix that so that that can be taken care of, because I'll tell you something, if it was one of the pets of the Obama administration, they would be having their benefits and there wouldn't be any question about it.
Absolutely. Our military, of course, going back to standards and levels of involvement of pre-World War II, about possibly 440,000 troops and a budget that's not going to hardly pay for them, let alone any new equipment. And we're still at war, Rita. We're still at war, and our adversaries don't respect us. They took a poll. Most all the world leaders kind of scoff at Obama. How serious do you think this is?
Well, I think it's very serious because we're supposed to be the superpower of the world, of which they've removed us from and abdicated that over to Russia. But it's really sad. And the part that makes me even more sad is that we have got Senate and congressmen who know this, and they're not doing anything to make any changes. It's like they're just idly sitting by, twiddling their thumbs. And the few who do try to say something, they just call them, oh, you're just a wacko bird or an idiot or something like that. You don't have any right to be saying it. You haven't spent 40 years in Congress like I have, so shut up.
Mm-hmm. Changing gears here a little bit, and this really shocked me. Did you happen to catch on the newscasts last night and again this morning? There is a new video from a young lady. Her name is Katy Perry, and she's really a big pop star. And the video is one of those outlandish, you got to follow it to try to feel or hear or think what message they're trying to give you. And it's from her song called Dark Horse. And it features all the religions in there, Buddha, Christianity with the cross, and of course also the Muslims. And it's a very short clip showing a person wearing a necklace that says Allah. And he's only on the screen for about 2 seconds, and he and others are turned into pillars of salt. Well, the Muslims are outraged, and they're demanding that this video be stopped, and they're claiming that their character is against the people of the Muslim faith. You know what? I'm sick of catering to the Muslims in this country. What are your thoughts?
Well, I am too, but it's not the Muslims that I'm really sick of. I'm sick of the politically correct police, and all those who say you can't say this or you can't do that, or, you know, they made a big deal about that law in Arizona that they were trying to pass, which would basically protect businesses if they wanted to refuse service to someone because of their religion. And all of a sudden it turned into you're just against the gay right, you know, the gay people, you're not going to give them their rights. Well, what about the religious rights? There's just too much of this political correctness going on around here. We need to quit worrying about that and start worrying about the things that matter, like that the United States of America is broke and we're in debt 17 or 18 trillion dollars, not to mention if you added that with all of the unfunded liabilities, 225 trillion, and that we've got to Congress and Senate that are not going by the law, and we've got a president who's just signing everything that he decides he wants to, and what law is good for me, I'll make okay, and the rest of them we don't have to do, and you don't have to enforce the laws. And the attorney general who's telling the state attorney generals to not enforce certain laws if they don't like them, and everything else. We're not going by the law. We're not going by the Constitution. We're paying attention to all this stupid stuff that has no bearing on anything, and because we give it credence or somebody makes a big deal about it, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I'm just sick to my stomach that we aren't paying attention to the right things.
Well, let's talk about that just a little bit more in depth. This whole deal with this Arizona bill has been, Senate Bill 1062, has been blown completely out of proportion, I believe. Because in your business, or a restaurant, or a furniture sales, nobody's going to ask when they walk through the door a person's sexual preference. And this bill has been distorted by the homosexual agenda. And quite frankly, I think the homosexual agenda has used this as a crutch to put their cause in front of the television cameras. And when we look back at some of the stories about where a couple of gays wanted to have a photographer shoot their wedding and the photographer respectfully declined, and these two gays wanted to go after the photographer and they did, and that person's probably going to be out of business. Another person was contacted with another bakery business to bake a cake for a gay wedding, and the persons declined, and they're probably going to lose their business. What fundamental rights and liberties do we have anymore without the gays coming in and making their demands over ours?
Well, and you know what? That's what the big problem is that they don't want just rights. They want special rights.
Yeah.
Because we're all entitled to our rights, but because they want special ones, and they trample on the rights that we have. And so I'm saying, you know what, they have every right to do whatever they want, see whoever they want, live with whoever they want, do whatever. But, you know, if I owned a bakery and they came in and that was against my, you know, my deep religious beliefs and it really weighed on me heavily, I feel like I should have the right to say, no, I'm not going to do that. And they should, if they said why, it's because I'm not going to do that, not because you're who you are or anything else. But they always have to blow it out. They want special rights. They want to promote their point of view until all of us say it's okay, we agree with you, and that's what, you know, we should make laws that everybody has to be gay instead of just live your life, do what you want to do. We're all Americans, we all have rights.
Why can't a businessman or a businesswoman look at these folks and say, you know, I respect the fact that you have different value system than I do, but please respect my value system. And I'm sure there are other bakeries that would be more than happy to serve you, but at this juncture, I respectfully decline. At that point, both parties should say and acknowledge that it was a polite separation, and the gay couple should go their way and the business owner should go his.
Oh, absolutely, and that's just another instance of where we're focusing our priorities. Are those the kinds of things that matter, whether our government isn't working properly, or you know, whether or not we have too much regulation? Or, I mean, it's just absolutely horrible that the courts and the newspaper and everybody is making all of this big deal about this kind of stuff, to where if we didn't make a big deal about it, maybe they'd drop it and say, well, you know what, we'll live our lives, and, you know, if I want to file a case or something, I'll take it to court and see if I can win on it and be done with it. Just like if I had some kind of a grievance that I needed to address in court or whatever, the whole world doesn't need to know about it. It doesn't matter to them whether Rita Ramsey's having an issue and she's taking it to court or not, you know?
Yeah. But, you know, when you look at the overall picture of how the media distorted this bill down in Arizona, they painted Governor Jan Brewer into a corner. They did. They painted her into a corner to the point where the bulk of Arizona was watching her thinking, is she going to sign this bill with the potentiality that we're going to become a poster child and a marked target for the gay and lesbian and transgendered movement and all their money to denigrate Arizona? Or is she going to veto the bill so that we can still have the Super Bowl and we can still invite businesses into our state? Money was the key object here. Money, M-O-N-E-Y.
Well, and that's the part that makes me really mad about it, is that the news media made such a big deal about it that a bunch of these companies that are doing business there or going to do business there were really had to say, hey, you know, if you do this, we're not going to do it. I think they should have just kept their mouth shut and let it go past. But they didn't, because they have to be the advocate for everybody, and I'm sure that they had a lot of people saying, you better say something or else, and it just got out of hand, and she was literally blackmailed into voting against it, which maybe it was a bad deal, but you know what? That was the state's rights. If the state decided they wanted to do it and they actually voted on it and agreed on it, there must have been enough of them who thought it was okay. And I heard one of the representatives from Arizona talking about the actual bill, and it didn't have anything to do about that. It was mostly letting the businesses have religious freedom if, in fact, they were up against a certain circumstance, that they wouldn't end up going out of business because they used their religious freedom in a decision that they made.
Well, now, you're a mom and a family, a head of a family, along with your husband. You've raised your kids. You're involved in business and everything. And you and I were, I guess they could say, raised in the old school of thought that there's a right and a wrong, and there is a punishment for the wrongdoers, and belief in the Bible that what the Bible says is the way life is. Now, why should we have to change our beliefs, our core beliefs that have been part of this country for over almost 250 some years? Why do we have to be changing our core beliefs on what we think is right, what we think is wrong, what we think the Bible says is a sin? Why do we have to change to go along with this absolutely filthy lifestyle?
Well, it's because somebody else is in charge, and they want to take my freedoms away from me, and they want to take your freedoms away from you. And quite frankly, I think a lot of this stuff is just a ruse to get us to look the other direction. I had an auditor in here from an insurance company a few weeks back, and he was from Seattle. And when he came in, he could tell that I listen to talk radio and I read a lot of constitutional books and stuff because my office is pretty much full of that kind of stuff. And he said, "Oh, I see you listen to talk radio and stuff." And I said, "Yeah." So we had a good visit about all of the things that people on talk radio talk about, which is mostly what's going wrong with the government, or in a big part. And so we visited about that, and he went on his way, and he said, "I'll be getting in touch with you again to kind of finish up the stuff." And he called a few days ago, well, I think it was last week, and it was a day or two after the deal with the cameras in the newsrooms, issue had kind of come up, and he goes, "So what do you think about that?" And we talked about it for a minute, and he said, "The part that I'm always worried about, and this is the thing that we've kind of been taught to keep an eye out for, is when this hand is doing one thing, what's going on in the other hand." Mm-hmm. So they brought up something that was really, really stupid. They knew they could never get away with it if it reached the media. So what were they hiding in the background? That's the part that I always wonder about when all of these other issues start coming to the surface is, okay, what's going on that they're trying to hide?
Well, you bring up an interesting point because last week when the snooping idea came up from the FCC to go into various newsrooms and monitor various programming, etc., which mine's one of them. I talked to some of my friends back at Fox News in New York, and I'm not going to mention names. They asked me that our conversation remain confidential, but they honestly feel that this opening up the can of worms on the snooping bill was a perpetrated idea to alert everybody that we might not push it now, but it's going to stay in the background, and watch out. It's going to be a dog unleashed in the future.
Well, not only that, but I think it was their idea of coming up with a subtle threat.
Yep. Absolutely.
You either start doing what we want and carrying the water for us, or we will be in your newsrooms. Remember what we talked about later? That's what they'll say. We talked about this back in 2014. It was in February, and we talked about it, so now we're going to have to enforce it. I think it's just basically a threat of blackmail to say you better do what I told you or we're going to be on your case, because everybody knows that the fairness doctrine and everything else has been tried to be, in place and make it work so that they have to have the right amount of liberal talk shows as they do conservative talk shows, even though the liberal talk shows, not enough people are interested enough to pay their way on them. But it's just kind of like, I think it was more or less a subtle threat, just like you said, okay, we could be doing this, so you better carry the water for us. Mm-hmm. I honestly think it's just a form of blackmail that they're saying this is coming down the pike if you don't straighten up, and we'll be in your newsroom first.
I agree. I want to change gears here. I've only got a short time left, but I want to hit this a little bit. The Keystone Pipeline. I know so many people in the route of the Keystone Pipeline. I know every single person that I've talked to back there that is either in ranching or agriculture or politics. They've all been very much in favor of the Keystone Pipeline. We have seen former Secretary of Interior Ken Salazar come out and say there's absolutely no way that it shouldn't be built because environmentally it's going to meet all the standards and exceed all the previous standards for other pipelines. And just now we've had, of course, the Secretary of State, the State Department, come out and say, yes, absolutely, the Keystone Pipeline should be built. But this morning, Senator Barbara Boxer from California came out. She knows nothing about science, knows, nothing about a lot of things, and she said, no, I don't think we should have that Keystone Pipeline because I feel that that pipeline will release toxins that will cause cancer. Why, we can't have that pipeline. These dim Democrats will go to any basement level to try to stop this.
Well, you're absolutely right. One of the best things that could come to America would be for us to unleash some of these natural resources, build the Keystone Pipeline, let us start pumping gas. When we pump the gas, a tax would go into the national treasury to help get rid of our debt, those kinds of things. The Democrats aren't for that because they want everybody to be dependent on them. That's why, and I guess this leads into probably the end of my segment, is that we've got to make a change in Washington this fall. Now, in Idaho, a lot of the things that need to be changed will actually take place because we're a very conservative state in the primaries, and it's ultra important that people get involved with the election for the primaries, because many of these races will be decided at the primary level, not at the one in the fall.
That's right.
And I wanted to mention, and I know that Wayne Hurst mentioned about the Lincoln Day banquet. After the Lincoln Day banquet, Senator Russ Fulcher, who is running for governor, would like to meet with any of the irrigators or farmers who are concerned about water rights in that same venue, just in a conference room that they have at 4:30. And so all of the farmers or anybody who has any questions about water wants to talk to State Senator Fulcher, who's running for governor, and what his what he has to say about it and voice their concerns, they're invited to attend. Also, I wanted to mention that I'm helping Brian Smith with his campaign, and I would like to have anybody who comes to Burley to stop by my office. If they were wanting to see a change in our congressman, I need them to sign a petition. I can't just email a petition and have you sign it and send it someplace. These all have to be verified by the counties. They have to be listed on sheets for that particular county, and then we have to take them to the county seats and have them all verified and have it notarized that they are all registered voters. So everybody who has wanted to make a change, stop by here and sign a petition. You can stop by the Moon and Associates on the square in Rupert and sign one over there if you're over that way. But we need to do this and help them get going, showing that they've got some support, and it will also save them some money from having to just pay a filing fee instead of a petition.
I am, and I don't want to denigrate the populace as a whole, but I think you'll understand what I'm going to say. I am really worried, very, very worried about the percentage numbers of people that are going to take the time to go to the primary and then also again in the fall for the midterm elections. I'm so sick and tired of reading about 25, 27, 28% of the population voting. Rita, we got to do something to light the fire under these people.
Well, we really do, and I think one of the key things is that anybody who is going to go vote should ask their neighbor, whether it's their people in their household or the people they work with or whatever, are you going to go vote? Do you want to go with me, or I'll drop you off at your precinct or something? Give them a reason to go. Help them out. Make him know that this is important, or just take a carload with you. Like they always say, if you're going to a picnic, bring a carload, and we have got to start making some changes here, and the primaries where it's going to have to be done. But it's going to have to be the grassroots, general persons out there saying, you know what, I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to talk to my neighbor or those who I associate with, whether it's family or whatever, and encourage them to do the same and see if we can't, because the primaries are a very dismal percentage.
While you're on the air right there, Rita, give us the information on the primaries right now. We might as well start throwing the bread on the water. Go ahead.
What kind of information?
Well, the dates, everything. We need to have that. Go ahead and lay it out for them.
The primary dates are the first Tuesday in May.
Right.
And those are the time. That's the time that we will go and vote on all the primaries. But if there are not Democrat challengers to any of these offices, or even if there are, it's going to be the person who wins in the primary that most likely will win the thing, even if there is a Democrat challenger, because we're such a conservative state. There aren't very many times when we actually elect Democrats in those offices.
Absolutely. Time goes so fast when you're on the air. I was going to talk to you a little bit about Greenpeace and Patrick Moore. I don't have time. We'll try to save it for next week. Rita Ramsey, quickly, anything going on with the Tea Party, real fast?
Actually, Brian Smith is having a meeting on Monday at Zions Bank from 12:15 to 12:45. Anyone who would like to visit with him for a few minutes, sign a petition or whatever, is welcome to go there. On the 13th, which is 2 weeks from yesterday, we're going to have a candidates forum where all the candidates who are running for the state offices and Brian Smith will be there. They will talk about their whatever their platform is, answer any questions, and that type of a thing. And that will be at the King's Fine Arts Center Little Theater at 7 o'clock on that night. And I'll talk to you about it a little more next time.
All right, Rita Ramsey, thank you so much. God bless. We'll see you next Thursday.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Hey, real quick, it's time for a Michael Rogers Weather.com update.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. So we got showers in the forecast today, and of course, we're going to kick in the winds, too. It's not going to be fun. Winds out of the west-southwest about 15 to 25, gusting to 35. That's going to take place most of the day. It'll taper off later on tonight. Overnight lows will be in the upper 30s. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Thank you, MichaelRogersWeather.com. It is, my goodness, about 6 minutes till the hour of 10 o'clock. I'm hungry. Yesterday, we had breakfast at 6 in the morning, and then we went to the doctor's offices and spent the whole day. We didn't get lunch, and we were starving to death. Oh, do we wish we would have had these restaurants to go to, like Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley, with a southern baked burrito, either soft shell or grilled shell. It is good. It is delicious. And they've got the chicken BLT burrito, and they got the Bandito burritos and chimichangas and nachos. It's all delicious at Taco Bandito. 2301 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see them today. How about another couple of great places in this area? Burgers, etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. Corn dogs and hamburgers and cheeseburgers and taco salads and snacks, great desserts with ice cream. Oh, what are you waiting for? And every Sunday they have a shrimp dinner special at the Burley store. You're going to love the people and the great food at Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. Don't you forget that. Let's move on over to Heyburn right now at 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Steve-O's, food made the way you like it. Jalapeno burger with lots of spicy peppers. That'll light up your life. And, of course, don't forget the nacho fries topped with cheese and jalapeno peppers. You can really ensure yourself that you won't have an energy shortage. And then don't forget the delicious, I love this, pork chops with salad and choice of spuds. You're going to love that. They've got friendly servers, dedicated staff, and a fantastic menu. Please remember Steve-O's, located at 290 South, 600 West Heyburn. Food made the way you like it. And last but not least, let's not forget the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Oh, my goodness, they got kids' baskets, and they've got the famous Farmer Brown burgers and the ranch burgers, and any kind of milkshake that you want to sip through a straw or dig out with a spoon, man, they are so good. You're going to love it. 601 East Main in Burley. And don't forget, too, the three-piece fish and chips with small fry, only $7 1/4. You're going to love it. AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley, and those are just a few places to go if you're hungry, like Gina Jameson, and starving to death.
How did you know?
Because honestly, you can hear you drooling as it drips onto the console over there.
I'm gnawing on the microphone. And a good thing for everybody who comes into the studio after me, at least I disinfect it.
Yeah, but you got a clean console.
I do, as a matter of fact. Every Thursday, this console gets clean.
Oh, man. I tell you what, I've just been so busy since yesterday trying to catch up with everything. You leave one day, and everything goes to heck.
I know. You leave one day, and then the next day you come back, and you've got triple the work.
Yeah, and the mail, I mean, my goodness, by the time Deanna and I went through the mail last night, and then 91 emails just yesterday that I had to address for the business, and we got to bed finally and woke up early this morning, and there were another 86 already on there for this morning. I mean, my goodness sakes.
Here's my question with the emails. Do you and Deanne sit down at the computer and then you tell her what to type?
I think that's a personal question.
Confirmed.
No, but she knows. She's so good. She knows what emails are going to be headed for the trash bin and which ones I need. And she can go through and discern quicker than I ever could as to who's this, what's that, what's this leading to, and she's really good at pulling things off. And as far as typing is concerned, in answer to your question, yup. I got to run to the news. I'll call you back. I'll talk to you in about 6 minutes.
You got it.
Okay. Oh, welcome back, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And, of course, don't forget some of our great advertisers. In just a moment, we're going to be talking to Brett Lee over at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, and our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Don't forget, Monday through Thursday, 11 to 9, Fridays through and Saturdays, 11 to 10, the Chadwick Sports Grill. Oh, good eating. My goodness, they've got everything over there. I love their Philly sandwiches. You're going to love the entire menu at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. Like I said, Monday to Thursday, 11 to 9, Fridays and Saturdays, 11 to 10. Chadwick Sports Grill. You're going to love going in there and seeing all the great people. Right now, let's go on the phone and visit with the gentleman over at 459 Overland in Burley, and that happens to be Mr. Brent Lee. Good morning at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More.
Good morning, Zeb. Yes, and we want to welcome everyone to come in for some great spring specials that we've got throughout the store.
All right, well, tell us about those, please.
Well, it's that time of year. We've been to Furniture Market. We're back. And now all these new arrivals are coming, and so it's just streaming in the back door. And so we've got some new looks, some new colors, whether it's in carpet, vinyl, laminate flooring, tile, and then, of course, we've got such an array of new upholstery coming in as well. In our sectionals, we've got some beautiful fabrics and some leathers in our sectionals, recliners. And we've got a great selection of bedroom sets, probably one of the largest selection of bedroom sets that we've had, and some beautiful ones that are forthcoming. So it's springtime. It's time to spruce up. And by the way, you know that we have a wonderful selection of accessories. And that allows you to take an existing room and just add a little accessory here and there, and it can just make it blossom.
Absolutely.
We have vases and artwork and florals and things that are not too expensive, many less than $100, many less than $50, and yet they can really give you some pop.
Absolutely. Now, going back into the bedroom for a moment, I love my pillow, and I have the hypoallergenic, antimicrobial, really advanced technology memory foam pillow. You better tell everybody about those.
I should say, and that My Pillow is such a wonderful complement to our Simmons bedding line. And you know, there's just nothing important, and I know you know this as well as anyone, as in getting a good night's rest. And sometimes we kind of set that aside, and we don't give it the consideration it needs. But you can come in and take a test rest. We'll help you make that right purchase for your master bedroom, the guest room, maybe it's the kids' room as well. Help you get a bed, that wonderful pocketed coil system that we have in the Simmons beds with the memory foam top. Gosh, it makes for a comfortable night's rest, a stable night's rest. And then add My Pillow, and you will really be sleeping deep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Guru, I was asking another question, and I know you probably have the answer. I already feel the answer coming my way. Where did they come up with the terminology Ottoman?
Ottoman?
Yes.
Oh, Ottoman.
Ottoman. I said Ottoman. I'm sorry. I apologize. Ottoman. Thank you for the correction.
Ottoman, yes. You know, we talked about this one before. I've got to go back in my memory bank a little bit. But, of course, an Ottoman is a footrest. And I've got to go back in history and look that one up.
I thought sure that you would come out just as smooth as silk and say, well, don't you remember the Ottoman Empire? And they needed to rest after they were trying to purge the world of everybody else on their crusades, and they needed to put their feet up, so they invented the Ottoman.
Oh, you are good. My goodness, that is amazing.
That ad just cost you another $25. No, Brett.
Speaking of that, we've got lots of furniture that has an ottoman and ottoman attached. And you get your feet up like that, as you've just beautifully described. It helps you to get your circulatory system at its most efficient point. So, glad you brought that up.
All right, I tell you what, great guy. Brent Lee, Lee's Furniture, Floors and More at 459 Overland in Burley. Stop in, super staff, very knowledgeable. Thanks, Brent. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, and bye-bye.
All right, take care. Oh, my goodness sakes. Let's see where I'm at here right now. I got to pay some bills, and, I can do that in just a moment. Right now, I think we're going to go to the phone lines, and we're ready for School Days in Cassia County. And School Days in Cassia County is brought to you by two wonderful sponsors, and I really do mean that because they jumped in and helped us sponsor the time on this program. A Child's World at 1308 Overland Avenue in Burley, and don't forget at A Child's World, they've got great gift ideas for birthdays and new babies that are coming along, all kinds of spring outfits, everything for the family. Games, it's all there. The Cherokee Scrubs are going to love showing everything to you at A Child's World, once again located at 1308 Overland Avenue in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Also, our second sponsor is Ambulatory Surgery Center, 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. All you have to do, it's so simple, pick up the phone and call 677-8888 for doctors to bring their patients to the Ambulatory Surgery Center for outstanding care and save the patients money. Absolutely. Remember, a colonoscopy can save your life. Contact the Ambulatory Surgery Center today, 1344 Highland Avenue, 677-8888. Right now, let's go to the phone lines, and on our program for this morning is going to be Carl Voigt with the Tech Center. Good morning, Carl. How are you?
Good morning. Very good, sir. Thank you for having us.
I think I had you on the program one other time, did I not?
Yeah, last fall.
That's what I thought. Now, tell us a little bit about the Tech Center. What's happening over there? Maybe many people don't even know you have one in Burley.
Yeah, I get that a lot from parents. We are the Cassia Regional Tech Center. We're just down the street from Burley Junior High, behind the old high school. And we offer 8 different professional technical programs. From automotive technology all the way through CNA and EMT courses.
Okay. Now, let's kind of ask this question. I think I mentioned this to you the last time. There's a lot of kids, and I'm not trying to dispel college in any way, shape, or form, but Carl, I know there's a lot of kids that are being pushed into college by their moms and dads, or maybe the school administration with the guidance counselor. They don't want to go to college. They want to learn a trade, and they want to get to work.
Well, and I would agree with you wholeheartedly that we've kind of focused on that. I will say that college is a good thing. I mean, I wouldn't have my position had it not been for, a university degree and even advanced degrees. And most of our teachers, are college educated. There are many positions that require that. However, national statistics say that future jobs, roughly only 17% of those will require a bachelor's degree.
Wow.
So there's a lot of need out there to fill good-paying positions that don't necessarily require a 4-year university degree.
Mm-hmm. Now, what fields of endeavor, in your opinion, Carl, do you think are really lacking in people getting involved in today?
In our local region right now, one of the biggest one is diesel mechanics.
Really?
Yeah, there is a huge need. Western States actually has gone to running their own in-house training program at their dealerships because they can't seem to find enough people to fill those positions. And a diesel service tech in southern Idaho, after training, can make between $60,000 to $80,000 a year.
Wow. Why do you suppose there's a laxity of getting into that industry? Because, I can remember vividly, even though I'm an old man, a lot older than you, I can remember vividly back in high school, when it came to automobiles or diesels or anything like that, there was a group of kids in our high school that could not wait for that class.
And, you know, fortunately, we do have a program that's full. We have over 120 kids in our automotive technology program right now.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is, and unfortunately, you know, when I was in high school a few decades back, we termed it vocational education.
Yeah.
And I think there's still this stigma that sticks with that. In fact, nationally, they've changed that. The Department of Vocational and Adult Education has now changed their name. They're now the Department of Career and Technical and Adult Education.
You know, the words are everything. Words are everything. I couldn't agree with you more. I think that as a young person, you know, there's a stigma sometimes on vocational, that type of thing. But boy, if I saw something that would say with a great big newspaper or magazine advertisement or on the radio, you have a great career opportunity in diesel mechanics, you know, leave all those other gunky little words out and really spell it out that there's a career opportunity.
Right. Well, and one of the things, you know, as I prepared for this, I was thinking of some information, and, you know, there's a lot of talk about the Idaho Core Standards, which was before the Common Core Standards in our state.
Right.
We did, the Division of Professional Technical Ed did a little chart for us last summer at summer conference that showed the reading difficulty of certain texts in different levels of education. And interestingly enough, professional technical reading levels, the material that kids have to read in our programs, is actually higher than senior level AP English.
No kidding.
So our kids are getting high-level academic skills within our programs.
Oh man! Well,
all of our programs offer either dual credit or tech prep college credit. So we're no longer vocational ed. We're no longer, you know, go to school and become a mechanic. We are high-end, highly technical. Incorporating high academic standards in all of our programs.
Well, you know, let me ask you, let's get back to diesel mechanics or being a mechanic in general for these newfangled trucks and cars and everything else. I mean, every single day, their education changes.
Well, and, you know, I had a meeting last night with a group of teachers here at the Tech Center from all different disciplines. And one of those teachers brought up this interesting fact that we're training kids today for jobs that don't exist. And he related that to when he first started teaching, the big new push was a VCR repair technician.
Oh my.
I mean, that was the field to get into if you wanted to move into the future. And as we all know, that position doesn't exist anymore.
Right, right.
And this was just a few decades ago. So diesel pickups, diesel machinery, farm equipment, any heavy equipment, it's no longer being able to turn a wrench or diagnose simply by listening to something. Everything is computerized.
Absolutely.
So it's highly technical, and it takes a lot of skill, the electronics of it, the, you know, wiring of it. So, yeah, it's not, I think we get wrapped up in core standards are written for college and career readiness. It seems like often we're only focused on the first half of that.
I agree. Now, let's paint a little picture here. Let's say that there's a student that's listening to this right now, and he goes, yeah, I don't want to go to college. I would love to get involved in diesel mechanics or what other items you have on your curriculum. What would you tell these young people? What do they need to do? How do they get involved? A lot of them are shy and don't know where to put the right foot ahead of the left to get in to talk to you.
Well, I think first off, they need to have that conversation with their parents.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, parents are our key factor in influencing what kids are going to do, both in high school and post-secondary.
Very true.
So I think they need to have that conversation with their parents. I had an email the other day from a parent who has a student at one of our high schools who's a sophomore and wants to look at one of our programs. Parent sent me an email. You know, my email's on our website. It's on the school district website. Our teachers are all on there. Shoot us an email. Students can shoot us an email. We have a Facebook page. Students might post questions on Facebook. You know, Mrs. Critchfield will get us that information. I peruse it. there's lots of ways that they can get in touch with us, but the biggest thing is just to ask some questions. Go and talk to their school counselors. Get their take on it. We've been working this year real closely with our high school counselors to really get everybody to understand the level of professional technical education today, that it's not where we send the kids who aren't going to college. Most of our kids in our programs are college bound.
Absolutely.
They're just getting skills to assist them in their future.
Maybe we've got a couple of minutes left here real quick. Can you give us a kind of a variety of the different courses that are available through the Tech Center?
You bet. Automotive technology, starting next year, will be a 4-year program. Burley kids can start as freshmen. Our out-of-town kids start as juniors, but we condense that, and they do 3 years in a 2-year period. We have AutoCAD, automated drafting and design, which kids can earn up to 16 credits. If they transfer to CSI, they can finish an associate's degree in about 3 semesters. CSI's program in AutoCAD has a 100% job placement upon graduation.
Wow.
Automated manufacturing, kids learn CNC milling, they learn engraving with lasers, they learn welding, plasma table. We have all of that here at our facility. We have information technology, kids who want to learn how to repair, build computers, install networks, update software. In fact, our infotech kids have been helping our tech department set up computer labs in the schools. The computers come in, they install all the required, features on those computers before they're sent out to the schools. Graphic media communications, they learn, everything from photography to creating broadcasts. Let's see, I'm just going through my building. We have our Health Occ, which they start as juniors, and then as seniors they can either become a certified EMT or a certified CNA upon graduation.
Oh, boy.
Again, those are both college dual credit courses. Residential construction, they do a lot of projects that assist the district, building sheds. They were really instrumental in helping finish up the new ag building at Burley High School.
Well, Carl, that kind of gives us an overview as to what they have, but how do people get a hold of you and find out more information? We got to wrap it up.
The front door is always open during school hours. My office is right up front. They can stop by. They can call me at 878-6610, email me. Kids stop in. We do tours with our junior high kids. We bring our Declo kids in just after spring break or coming in for a tour. So we're here, but I encourage parents to stop by.
Very good.
That's our big push is, we want the community to know the great asset we have. This is a huge benefit to our community.
All right. Principal of the Tech Center in Burley, Carl Voigt. Thank you so much, sir. God bless. Come back again.
Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Thank you, sir. And, of course, School Days in Cassia County, brought to you by 2 wonderful sponsors. We say thank you again to A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley and Ambulatory Surgery Center, 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Wow. Gina, I'm caught up for a change. I got a few minutes to just sit back and relax.
Well, go and take a nap.
Boy, could I. Since my surgery, that was the longest time that I've ridden in an outfit, going down to Salt Lake and then coming home from Salt Lake.
Yeah.
And I felt like a human pretzel that would never straighten out again. It was rough.
Now, you're still able to make it out to the truck and get in pretty much on your own.
Yep.
So that's an improvement.
Yep.
And you can make it out to the barn and out to your your arena.
Yeah. What I've developed, it's no big secret, I've got a couple of problems. There are blood clots that have developed in the leg, and we're treating that with a special medicine. And the other thing that's absolutely killing me is I have torn the sciatic nerve.
Oh, owie.
And, up the back of your leg.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times, I've given up swearing, there are times where the devil is right there on the tip of my tongue, tempting me.
Since when did you give up swearing?
It hurts. does.
I know it does.
You know, you sit in the chair and then all of a sudden you stand up and you take that first step and your sciatic nerve goes, I got you!
Yeah, and it's just like on fire. I've had some sciatic nerve problems in the past and not friendly, so I'm definitely feeling for you.
And you know, this is kind of crude, but this is the way it is. You go from Salt Lake to here. That's a fairly long ride.
Actually, it is, yeah.
And, you know, all of a sudden, our human urges say that we must stop here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
Well, with a sciatic nerve and your leg bent like a pretzel, you say to your body, we ain't going to.
Keep on going.
And it's a struggle for 260 miles.
But, you know, you did make it. There is improvements, and so, you know, prayers are still needed. But, boy, howdy, you've come a long way since the surgery.
Yeah, the blood clots really scared me. I was not aware that was a problem. And they did that ultrasound or whatever it's called. I can't think of what the name of it is. And that bothered me a lot because some of the stuff they put me on or had me on didn't work. And now they've got me on some high-powered stuff that I don't know if I'm really in favor of it or not.
Did you do the search that I told you to on food?
Yes,
vitamin K?
yes,
Okay.
as a matter of fact.
All right.
And I am on a diet. I started that diet. And I got to tell you that I have lost in the last, let's see, when did I start that thing? I think it was back on February. I got to check the date. I marked it here. February 10th, I started the diet, and I am down right now 10 pounds. No, that's worth more than that. Here we go. I knew you had that hallelujah handy right there.
Heck yeah. Oh, we've got a phone call for you real quick.
All right, we'll take it real fast. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. Now, I've known a lot of horse people, but I have never known anybody that has horses that gave up swearing.
I have. And my wife will tell you that I've been really good about not saying the wrong word at the right time, and I've been really good until yesterday when I stepped out of the truck, and that sciatic nerve ran up the back of my leg like a rattlesnake, striking me in 13 different places, and I went, darn!
Yeah, I'll bet.
Are we going to see you at Lunch Bunch?
I am on my way.
All right. God bless you, Jack. Drive carefully. Thank you so much.
Yep.
We're going to take a break for about 6 minutes. That's Jack Euler, my dear, dear friend from Twin Falls. And Lunch Bunch coming up at 11:30 at Denny's in Burley. Don't miss it. And we'll see you back in 6.
And now back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
You know, you take a day off, and it takes a week to retrain me. Gina, I don't know why in the world going into the break I said I'll see you back in 6 like it was going into ABC News. Sorry.
I know. I was like, boy, howdy, his time is off.
I'm an old man. Okay. Hey, by the way, let's have a Michael Rogers weather update, shall we?
We shall.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. We've got showers in the forecast today, and, of course, we're going to kick in the winds, too. It's not going to be fun. Winds out of the west-southwest about 15 to 25, gusting to 35. That's going to take place most of the day. It'll taper off later on tonight. Overnight it'll be in the upper 30s. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Oh, thank you very much, MichaelRogersWeather.com. And right now, one of my favorite guests on the program. I look forward to having him on anytime I get a chance to catch him. Newsmax Hollywood reporter, legal analyst, and a good friend, James Herson. Oh, wait a minute. He's got two people in the studio. He's got somebody standing behind him taking notes. Who is that, James?
Actually, I've been trying to get a hold of him, and it just goes directly to voicemail.
How about we try another number?
Okay.
Are you ready, great detective?
Let's go.
714-614-0401. Here we go. We'll see if we get him live on the radio. This is going to be fun. Go ahead and introduce yourself if he answers.
Okay.
Okay. Hello? Hello, hello.
Hello.
Please. Please.
Answer.
This is not good.
Live radio at its finest.
Yeah.
Anticipation is killing you.
Like watching Jell-O. You know what? It doesn't sound very good, so if you would try the other number again, I will do a commercial.
You got it.
And I'll do a lot of sweating, okay? Okay. I love live radio. I love the way the guests sometimes forget that we're going to call. While I'm waiting in wild anticipation for like ketchup running out of a bottle, I want to remind you about the Founders Celebration going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All hear ye, hear ye. Founders Celebration in honor of the great Mr. Les Schwab. My goodness. Great buys on tires, some passenger car tires starting as low as $39.99. And the best in brake service. Oh my, they know brakes. At all 7 locations, professionally trained technicians, over 30 years experience. And, of course, shocks and struts, front-end alignments, batteries, the whole shootery. You better get in there and check it out. These are really nice people. Nice people. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, John on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers.
No dice.
I was kind of afraid of that. I really was. For some reason, I had a feeling that today, my day back after one day off, everything would go completely into, like Archie Bunker used to call it, the toilet.
So that means that it is the next half hour. It is Zeb sweating and open phones.
Open phone lines. We will talk about any subject you want to talk about this morning. We'll talk about the Democrats. We'll talk about the lack of support for global warming. It's diminishing more every day. Hey, by the way, I do have a story for you to comment on, though.
Okay.
This took place back in Maryland. And the police were basically whooping up on some people in the streets of Towson, Maryland.
Okay.
A University of Maryland student was witnessing the arrests of these students, of these people in the street. And he, by the way, the student, was standing on the other side of the street, not anywhere near the police. And he was photographing this with his cell phone. Do you know where this story is headed?
I kind of do, but please elaborate.
Well, one of the cops just jumped up from the fray and looked at this kid and said, "Knock it off, and you stop filming immediately." And the young man, his name was, I'm trying to find it here right now, Gutierrez. And he said, "I have a right to film. I'm not in the way. I'm not on the same side of the street." And the cops persisted, and they yelled at him, and they said, "You don't have freedom of speech here anymore. Keep your mouth shut and get out of here." And now this thing has gone viral to the point where these cops might lose their job with the Baltimore County Police Department. And WBAL-TV Channel 11 is launching an investigation. This kid had every right, as we all do, to stand on the other side of the street, and he taped this with his cell phone, and I won't use the entirety of the verbiage the cops told him to keep his mouth shut, basically they just told him to get lost, get out of there. They threatened him, and they also threatened to take away his camera. That's a Gestapo-type police.
And actually, I just got onto WAL-TV's website, and police chief calls officers' actions incorrect.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So an update.
Yeah, I'm actually...
You know, though, Gina, and I think you and I both agree on this, that I have done on this program, and you know this is true, 99% of the time, you will always hear me bragging and speaking very highly of the police. But there are some that are rogues. There are some that are impressed with power and the wearing of the badge. And there are some that almost go to the point of thuggery to act as Matt Dillon cleaning up Dodge City. Dodge City, too. Dodge City. And I think those are the ones that need to be weeded out.
Yes, and according to this story, Police Chief Jim Johnson said on Wednesday that the investigation into last Sunday's incident that was captured on cell phone, like you said, will be examined, and the actions of a citizen auxiliary police officer. That's what he was. Citizens auxiliary police officer. And he's saying that that officer's actions were incorrect, inappropriate, and unnecessary.
Now, I don't want to, like I said, I want to be real careful here. I'm not trying to denigrate the police because, as you know, they've got a job that is being scrutinized, I think, way too much under a microscope, okay? Yeah. But we also have our rights and our civil liberties in this country.
We do, yes.
And for this young man to be standing across the street, not doing anything to impede or inhibit the police in any manner on this, is absolutely wrong for this one cop in particular to say that this young man doesn't have any freedom of speech. You just lost it. Walk out of here and keep your mouth shut. There is no cause for this at all. And the threats that the police officer aimed at this person were totally unnecessary.
Yeah, exactly. And, I know a lot of officers have a respect for the officers because, you know what, they're the ones out there making sure that we are safe and that the bad people are apprehended. But like you said, sometimes there is one particular officer that will step across the line and do some or say some sort of inappropriate thing.
Most all the police, whether they're county police or county sheriff's deputies or the county sheriff, and I'm talking about all the counties around here, and all the city police forces, I can honestly say that if over living here 43 years, I only know of maybe 3 bad apples that have ever been with any of the police forces in the Magic Valley.
I know of 2, but that's statewide.
Well, and of course,
I've lived in the state for all of my life, pretty much.
Well, and one of them, of course, was in the news from Minidoka County, and everything, and that type of thing. But I mean, really, guys that use the badge as using the example of Matt Dillon cleaning up Dodge City, that maybe go over and above the powers and authorities that they have. But most every single one of the sheriff's deputies and city police around the area have been more than polite, more than amenable to give information, more than helpful to make sure that people understand their job, and I salute them. You're going to get bad apples in anything, as we saw about that story of that woman that belonged to the United States Army that wouldn't salute the flag. And you're going to find it in every walk of life, but they have to be weeded out.
They do have to be weeded out, and sometimes it's necessary to, really investigate and highlight actions like these, but it's just one officer does not represent the many that are out there.
No, if you take let's break this down a little bit. You take like the group of real estate agents or a group of insurance salesmen. Anything you want, you're always going to find somebody in any group that's going to damage the integrity and the character of the rest of the organization.
Amen. You can find that in journalism as well.
Oh my goodness! Have you opened up a can of worms there? No, you're spot on. You have been in radio and television, and I also have, and we've seen the people that are basically in it for the gratuities that it'll give them, and not the honesty that they need to share with the public.
When I go out and when I report on a story, or anything that I am doing related to my career, I adhere to the Society of Professional Journalism Code of Conduct. Yep. And there are reporters out there who probably have never read that Code of Conduct, and so they kind of go out on their own, a little bit on the rogue side, and they are not adhering to the standards set forth by the Society of Professional Journalists, which, if you want to be credible, you abide by those.
Why do people?
Credible, then just
Why do people, especially in the radio business? I think it's more prominent in the radio business because television shows the story along with the telling of a story. But in the radio business, people can't be at perhaps an explosion of a factory, or maybe a heinous car accident on the interstate or something like that. So they take the reporter's verbiage and it plays through their mind, so that they basically, in their mind's eye, it's playing on television. You understand what I'm saying? And I think there are people that are news reporters for radio stations. I think they're the worst, especially at major stations, that have gone out and flourished up the facts to make it more colorful, knowing that their audience can't be at the scene of the crime and it's not on TV.
No, because radio is theater of the mind.
Yep,
and
that's
so
exactly
you have
right.
to use those larger and more descriptive words to describe the story, as it's coming.
Yep.
Now, what I find irritating is it doesn't matter whether it's a radio or a television or a newspaper. They have this breaking story. And so they break out this story, but their facts might be incorrect. They don't, and this is honestly something that always needs to be done. If you're getting your facts incorrect on a breaking news story, then when you actually get all of the real facts out, would you please recant what you said before and apologize and
Amen.
get the facts straight?
Amen. And that's the other side of the story, too, is a lot of reporters don't tell the other side of the story.
No, and through actual reporting, you have to give a fair and balanced report. That means if side A is saying something, then you have to allow side B to say something as well.
Look at the attacks.
Getting all of that.
Look at the attacks today on Christianity. Look at the attacks today on CNN, ABC, CBS, NBC, any of the stations right now, to where they'll give a lot of credence to the Muslim movement in this country or Islam, and then denigrate as Tea Party Christian members. They'll always throw that in there, Tea Party Christian members, and they'll do all they can to denigrate Christianity and the Tea Party without being fair and going and interviewing these people and really finding out what their thoughts and motives are.
Agreed. And, if this is what aggravates me the most, is that they use these descriptive words to inaccurately describe a certain sect of whatever.
Yes.
It's like all Tea Party people are white and Christians.
Yeah.
That's not true.
That's
That is
not
not true at all. And so when you're coming out and you're reporting a story, show all sides, but take your bias out of it.
We have tried on this program, and next week's a good example, where as we draw closer and closer to the political season, we've got to be fair to everybody. If they're running for a certain office, and I give one a certain amount of time on my radio as a gratuity to introduce himself or herself, I will do the same for the other candidate in fairness. And then, of course, it gets to the point where they will be buying ads for the promotion of their candidacy. But we try to be as fair as possible, and some of the loons out there, they'll say, well, you gave this person 30 seconds more, we timed you. You can't be perfect on everything.
No, you cannot be perfect on everything. And, equal time is equal time as it is. But you know what? If you're 30 seconds short, that's just 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Not that big of a deal.
And we do the best we can during this political season, and it's a time in the media that, yes, we look forward to the extra income from the sale of ads, but also we have to be very, very careful about how we present these in a non-biased, non-prejudicial manner.
Amen.
There you go. And I try to on this program, with the exception of possibly one or two races. Hey, I've got a favor to ask of you and also my audience. As you know, I'm a little slow at this stage of the game with surgery less than 2 months ago. I am healing up, but it takes me a long time to get from point A to point B. You could time me with a sundial. So what I'm going to do is ask Gina to kind of fill in for me a little bit. I'm going to get ready to leave and head down to Lunch Bunch at Denny's at 11:30. I hope everybody can make it. Our thanks again to Smith's Food King, Hanson Mortuary, and Walmart for our gift cards we're going to give away, and we hope everybody's there at Denny's Restaurant on Overland in Burley. Gina, God bless you, and to everybody out in the audience, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you next Monday at 8:06. Zeb at the Ranch. God bless.